Hey everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here to bring the Astrology Insight for the week of April 19th. On Sunday, April 19th, we have Mars conjunct Saturn, as well as the Sun's ingress into Taurus. On Monday, April 20th, we have Mercury conjunct Saturn, as well as Mercury conjunct Mars. And on Thursday, April 23rd, we have Venus conjunct Uranus. And on Saturday, April 25th, we have Uranus's ingress into Gemini. On Sunday, April 19th, we have Mars conjunct Saturn in Aries, going exact at 5:43 p.m. Central Time. Now, we've been feeling this energy for probably over a week now. Mars conjunct Saturn can tend to be more of a destructive energy. It is at least in Mars's sign, so there's some dignity there, which means that it does give us the endurance and the ability to have resilience and the ability to stand up and do something. But that's perhaps why it gets to be very destructive, is because there's nobody wanting to let go or let down their guard. And so today we really just want to take it easy and know that it is one of those days where we do want to tread lightly if we have any confrontation, because we want to be aware that it's not necessarily the best day to take care of confrontation, because it perhaps will be very destructive and not necessarily able to find agreement, because there is that ability to just have that endurance and willpower to continue on with the argument. So just keep that in mind today, and really, like I said, just tread lightly, be nice to other people, be nice to yourself. On Monday, April 20th, we have Mercury conjunct Saturn going exact at 6:21 a.m. Central Time, as well as Mercury conjunct Mars at 4:44 p.m. Central Time. So we have Mercury transferring the light between Saturn and Mars, who just had their conjunction yesterday. And so what this means is that it can bring up issues that were happening yesterday, things that weren't said, which is why today we really want to be aware of how we are thinking, how we are communicating, and making sure that we are being genuine and responsible with our words, and that we are aware of what we have to say could potentially hurt somebody, and that we don't necessarily want to hurt other people. And so we do want to be very aware of how we are communicating with other people, because we might find with this Mercury conjunct Saturn, Saturn can have a tendency to bring responsibility, to help us self-check, and so we can maybe hold our words. However, Saturn can also be very devious and deceiving as well. And so this Mercury conjunct Saturn can be a little tricky, especially when it is conjunct Mars later on, because that Mercury conjunct Mars is very vocal. It's one that does use its tongue as a sword. And so we do want to be aware that we are in a healthy mental space, and that we are doing our daily practice, our religious practice, our spiritual practice, so we're able to ground that mental energy and work through it, so we are not using it as a weapon or a tool to hurt other people. So tread lightly today when it comes to communicating, and make sure you are very aware of what you are saying and how it impacts you as well as other people, because we want to treat ourselves kindly as well, because sometimes that Mercury conjunct Saturn can be some sort of mental dialogue as well, and maybe we're tearing ourselves down. So just be aware. On Thursday, April 23rd, we have Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus, going exact at 8:58 p.m. Central Time. So today is a wonderful day to change it up. Change the rhythm, change the flow, change your habits, change it up. Allow yourself to feel more freedom. Allow yourself to really align with your values, and really say, like, what sort of habits do you need to implement in your life so you can really start to evolve into the person that you are trying to become. The nice thing about Uranus and Taurus is that it does give us the ability to break down habits, traditions, norms, standards that we live by. And as Venus is the ruler of Taurus, it really allows us to connect to what are the things that we want to see come to fruition in our life. What are the types of relationships that we want to see grow? What are we trying to do in our career? It really depends on where this sits in your chart as far as how it's going to impact you personally. But on an overall level, we do want to really align and connect with our values, and really connect with what we want to see come to fruition, and start to shed and crack away all the traditions, the norms, the standards that are no longer serving you, are not helping you get there. This will be the last conjunction that Venus and Uranus have in Taurus, because on Saturday, Uranus is moving into Gemini for some time. If you'd like to schedule a personal reading, you can contact me at 11kaivarose33.com.